Okay, so now we're taking out Kai for the first time. I have her sitting in the heel position to walk forward. Her command is full again. So I'm gonna tell her that, pause for a half second to prevent overshadowing, then I'm gonna walk forward. If she leaves the position, I'm going to use my marker that predicts negative reinforcement, which is leash pressure, and I'm gonna guide her back into the position. Keep in mind, when I use this marker, it is not a punishment. So people think because I say wrong, it's a punishment for the dog. It's just showing her what I want her to do. Once she knows the rules, then we could add corrections later. Full again, and then I step, good. So now you see her going ahead of me, wrong. There we go, and she came back, guide her back into the heel position, good girl. And now if we see anyone, we'll see how she reacts, since the main issue is her reactivity. She's not interested in any of the treats right now, and that's normal when you take a dog out. Wrong. They won't be interested in the treats if they're more interested in the environment. Wrong. Good, very nice. And I want them to swing inwards. So I'm gonna make her go back that way. Very good. And the reason for that is it helps with the flip finish. So we want the dogs to learn, wrong, that they come back and they flip inwards. Very nice. And again, you could see how that's gonna help with her flipping her back end into the heel position for doing a flip finish. Wrong. Very nice. And make sure when you do this, whatever marker word you want to use, you don't have to use wrong. In fact, you could even repeat the heel command if you want. So when she goes forward, I can say heel or full again. So used to the English commands, bring her back, loose leash. The experience is the same. We're just bringing them back to the position. Once they're back in the position, we can provide verbal praise. Wrong. But I'm just using wrong for now. Bring her back, and then right back to the walk. Very nice. Good girl. And I'm just focused on the walk right now, and I want her, wrong, to focus on my pace. So if you notice, another thing that I like to do when I'm doing loose leash walking, I'm also gonna keep her head up. I don't want her sniffing the ground the whole time. Since she's gonna be a service dog, she has to learn to focus on the handler every time she's out. Good girl, very nice. Wrong. So a thing that I like to do is I like to play a game with it. I want, wrong, to try my best to sneak out of the dog's heel position. Wrong. So if she's not paying attention to me, I'm gonna step back, make sure I'm clearly out of the heel position, wrong, and then reinforce that position. So then she has to be very aware of what I'm doing and focus and pay attention, wrong, to my position. Now, there's some other common techniques, such as just randomly turning and going the opposite direction. I don't like to do that technique because I want the dog to know that I'm always focused on them and I'm paying attention to what they're doing and making sure they're doing the right thing. Wrong. And so by doing it this way, I always end up getting more engagement from the dog, and we're on the walk together, not just both of us doing our own thing. And it so happens that she has the training collar on, so if I turn one direction, she's gonna get a correction. Wrong. Good. Again, I don't like using that technique. So for me, I always continue to walk in the direction that I want to go. I change pace, wrong. And then once the dog's outside of the heel position, I bring them back, right back to the loose leash. Again, preventing her from bringing her head down. So now we're going to turn around, go back the other direction. And every time she drops her head, we'll just pick it back up. Good. And I'll actually step over to the other side so it's easier to see her. Wrong. And I don't have to continue to repeat the command. Another thing that a lot of people do when they see this technique, wrong, they think that they have to bring the dog back, make the dog sit, and then full again, and then go back into the heel. You don't have to do that. Wrong, you can if you want, but I just bring them back, turn them around, and I go right back into the walk. Very good, nice job. So then when they go ahead, wrong, I bring them right back into the position, and then we go right back into the walk. Wrong. And I want her to be able to avoid the pressure, but if she doesn't do it, then there's going to be some pressure. Make sure when you're doing this that you say wrong before the leash gets tight. Good. Guide her back and then right back into a loose leash. Very nice. So you can see she's doing a little bit of resistance, so I just make sure that I follow through. If your dog, wrong, good. See, that time she came back pretty easily. If your dog tries to resist, you have to make sure that you show them, wrong, that resisting does not work. So now once I have the dog understanding what I want, and the way that I can tell, so she's done this training before with her owner, wrong, is that they start to respond to the marker wrong. So you can see when she goes ahead of me, wrong, I say wrong and she comes back. That's what I'm looking for. So right now when she goes ahead and I say wrong, I'm not punishing the behavior, wrong, of going ahead. What I am doing is I'm telling her, when you hear this word, I want you to come back into the heel position, wrong. I'm reinforcing the act of going back to the heel position. Now that I have her responding to the wrong, I can add positive punishment. I'm going to do it in the form of a leash pop. Wrong. So now instead of saying wrong when she goes ahead, I'm going to say phooey. That's her marker for positive punishment. I'm going to add a correction, wrong. And then I'm going to recommand what I want and assist her if needed. So it should look something like this. And you'll see I'm going to get much higher level of reliability. Phooey, heel. It shouldn't be heel, sorry. Again, I'm so used to using English commands. So for her flipping into the heel position, it's leaks. So I'll try to say that next time. Phooey, leaks. Good. Very good. And again, it's a little quick leash pop. Excellent. Phooey, leaks. Very nice. And I'm trying not to pair, meaning saying the word at the same time I present the physical. Now, if you notice, she's checking in on me a lot. Good. So we see how she's starting to stop. Good, because now I added a consequence. If she goes ahead, if she's not paying attention to me, there's going to be a leash pop. And again, I'm preventing her head from going down. Phooey, leaks. Very nice. Good girl. And then once she's back in the position, lots of praise. Excellent. Nice work. Very good. And you can see how she keeps checking in on me. That's what I want to see. If I slow down, she slows down with me. And she's making it much harder for me, to leave her heel position now, because again, there's a consequence. Another thing that I like to do when the dog is trained on leash pressure, when I stop, I'll hang the leash pretty low like this, and then I can give the dog the down command, oof. And then I can assist them, or cue them rather, using that leash cue, making sure she goes all the way into the position. I'm going to mark the behavior and see if she wants a reward. Her elbows are still up, so I'm waiting for that. And she's trying to eat some grass. Yes. Good job. Let's see if she takes the treat. Still not interested. That's okay. Seat. Bring her back up. Excellent. Full again. And then we step forward. Very good. Phooey. Full again. I keep messing up these Dutch commands. Good. Nice job. Excellent. So now we can see she's walking significantly better because of these corrections. The corrections, when done the right way, after we've already taught the dog what the rules and the expectations are, we get very, very quick reliability because they've had an opportunity to learn. They know how to prevent the correction by doing what we ask them to perform. They know how to stop it from happening when it does happen by performing the correct behavior. So there's no stress associated with it. Phooey. Leaks. Good. Very good. And again, I can slow down. Excellent. And I want her to go at my pace. I don't want her to determine the pace. Another common mistake a lot of people make is they don't want their dog to leave the heel position. And so what they do is they speed up to try to keep up with the dog's pace. Very good. Seat. Excellent. Nice work. So that's a good session. We're going to wrap this one up, but when we are working with our dog and we're doing loose leash walking, make sure your dog knows the rules before you start adding corrections. You know that you've done the training the right way when you start adding corrections and you get almost instant results like we saw with her. I added a couple corrections and she started to perform significantly better because now there was a consequence to doing the behavior that we didn't want, which was leaving the heel position. And make it a game. Anytime you have a chance, try to sneak out of your dog's heel position. This will make them maintain focus with you or try to maintain that focus instead of becoming distracted because you become the most important thing in their environment. Okay. So full again, and then we step forward. Now she's starting to go off to the side. I might use this as an opportunity. Phooey. Good. And you see how quickly she responded to that. Now she just jumped back into position, so I just told her good, providing that verbal praise. You also want to make sure when you do start adding corrections that you don't reward the dog right away after you give a correction. You want to wait a little bit so they don't learn to do the undesired behavior, take the correction to get the treat. So now if I wanted to, I could reward her, but again, she's not taking treats right now. She's more interested in the environment. Phooey. Good. And you see how fast she's jumping back. That's what we want to see. It's making it phooey. Good. Very nice. And since she's jumping back so quickly, I'm just praising her. If she wasn't, then I would have told her full again, brought her back, and then went right back into the heel position. So she's doing really nice. Now that I have some pretty good control, she's maintaining the heel position for the most part. I'm gonna start asking her to perform different behaviors. Zit, so I can stop and I can give her her sit command. I can also do it down. I'm going to use the leash. Oof, and then I can apply a little bit of pressure on the leash. Good. Full again. And then go right back into the walk. Excellent. Very nice. Now I'm going to do a couple automatic sits when halted. So that means when I come to a stop, she needs to sit. Now there's a couple ways we can do that. We can do that by stopping, giving the dog the sit command, and then helping them do the behavior. We can stop and lure them into the position, or we can stop and use leash pressure the way that I did it. Either option is going to work. And the way that it works, if every time I stop, I tell the dog sit and the dog sits, the dog will figure out that pattern. So then you'll come to a stop and your dog will say, well, every time you stop, you tell me to sit, so I'm just gonna sit anyways. And they will do it on their own, and then we would just reward that. Full again. Good. Again, notice how when I give the command, there's always a slight pause before I present the physical cue. In this case, it's walking forward. And I'm still watching her to make sure she doesn't drop her head down. Now she's drifting a little bit. Phooey. Good. And she's trying to beat the correction, so I'm going to cut back this way. This road's a little bit more busy over here. Good job. Very nice. Excellent. And then again, if she drops her head down, I'm just going to pick it back up. Good. Very good. So now I'm going to pick up the pace a little bit, see if she can maintain it. Good. Now I'm going to slow down. Excellent. I was going to try to get her on that one, but good. And this is what we want to see. This is showing us that she really understands that she has to maintain this heel position. Very good. So in a sense, you have to demand your dog's attention and focus when you're in an environment with multiple distractions. Good. Phooey. Good. I got one there. Nice. Pull again. Bring her back into the heel position. Excellent. Zeet. Very nice. Step out in front. Just because we're doing loose leash walking doesn't mean we can't incorporate other commands. Oof. So I give her the down command. I'm going to assist with the leash pressure. We'll see if she's going to take a treat. Free. Let's see. Nope, she's still not interested in the treats. And then I'm going to call her back into the heel. And I'm going to turn and step. Full again. Good job. And you might be able to hear she's doing a little bit of whining here and there. And that's, I'm pretty confident it's frustration. She wants to explore and do more, and she's having to walk in the heel position, which isn't as fun for her. She would much rather run around and explore everything. Good, very good. Now it's becoming really difficult for me to leave the heel position. Good, nice work. Zit. So she sat pretty far back. Full again. That's okay. And this is all we're going to do for this walk. Nice little short walk. People always try to ask for too much too soon, or they do walks that are entirely way too long. There's a lot of focus that's required for doing loose leash walking when we're asking our dog to maintain a position regardless of what we do. If we're changing pace, going faster, going slower, if we're adding commands, sit down, we could even add center or the recall. It's a lot for them to think about. So we want to keep the session nice and short, just like all our training sessions. Very good. And she's not letting me correct her anymore. Excellent. Nice work. Good job. Very good. And we're probably going to do a dozen or so walks around the neighborhood, before we start taking her into other environments that are going to be more difficult than this. And we'll see how this transfers over to those issues that we're having with her being reactive. Booey. Good, I got one there. Booey. Good, very good. Nice work. All right, and that's it. That's all we need to do.